here on Inside the Gamecocks, the show. We are live now talking ball with Pat DiMarco. How are you, Pat? You ready for Christmas, man?
Yeah, we're getting there. I have several things that are hidden in our house right now that I'll have to put together here in the next
Yeah, I have
9
one
days.
some assembly required thing too. Yeah, it's like, well, we'll see.
Yeah, I feel like
Cool.
every year we get another one of those little ride-on electric battery-powered things, and I'm just like, why do we keep buying these? They break after like 17 uses, and that gets us until March or April. As soon as it gets nice enough to want to be outside.
Yeah, right.
Outstanding, Pat. Yeah, I think we've talked about this before. I think on the show, but these playoff games coming up this weekend. You know, they're in Columbus, Ohio, South Bend, Indiana, and State College, Pennsylvania. 3 of them are, and then there's one in Austin. You played for the Bills. This is the first time we've had cold weather playoff football at the college level, like ever.
Yeah.
Out maybe some Cotton Bowls back in the day got a little chilly, but that bowl normally wasn't for the national title. I mean, all the Big Ten teams play in Pasadena. You know, your thoughts about the elements, and can they impact this game? Just because, you know, college kids really aren't used to it.
So Buffalo is building a brand new stadium. And in order to host a Super Bowl, potentially probably, like, if you're in the Northeast, they've had a couple up in New York, New Jersey, but you generally need a dome to do that. And at that time of year, there's a reason why they are not putting a dome on their new stadium. And that's because Miami comes up there once a year. Several teams from other, I would say, better climate areas travel up there. And when Miami gets off the bus to play Buffalo on a Sunday in November or December, they already lost. So it is a definite big home field advantage to those who are used to it. Sean McDermott, who's our head coach up there, I begged and prodded and might have offered him some money to have us practice inside my first year up there. And he said, suck it up, Pat. You're going to have to play that on Sunday. So we're going to practice in it, and we're going to get accustomed to it. So, yes, for those teams that are going to have to, SMU heading to Penn State, that's not going to be fun. Tennessee, Ohio State, that's not going to be probably too bad. But, I mean, moving forward, there's going to be definitely a piece to it.
Absolutely. Yeah, 3 of the 4. I thought that was a big factor with these first-round home games heading into this year, just because it's we've never had to experience it. Like, when I think about NFL playoffs, man, there's nothing like a January Sunday and a good cold weather game. I mean, that's like I grew up. I mean, when I think of NFL playoffs, I think of that. When I think of college playoffs, I think domes or warm weather.
Yep.
I mean, it's just kind of weird. So
SMU, watching one of those snow games on TV is awesome.
Dude, it's football. I mean, I've got to, if Chicago were worth a crap, the Bears, I would try to go to one of their December games because it's outdoors. My wife said that they tailgate and their beer freezes. So
one of my first experiences to Buffalo weather was OTAs up there my first year, and we went and had like a scrimmage in the stadium, and I mean, it wasn't crazy cold, but like in Buffalo, the wind blows 15 to 20 miles an hour every day. I mean, there's gusts 30, 40. It's not abnormal, but Tyrod Taylor threw me a flat route. I mean, and I'm in Atlanta, and out Matt Ryan throws me a flat route. It's on my front hip, catching it, ready to go. Like, the ball's not moving. Tyrod Taylor threw me a flat route, and then I completely had to flip my hips open and catch it like outside the frame of my body. When it started out like perfect, leading me right to where I wanted to go, and I had to flip everything, open up my back hip, expose myself. The linebacker ended up hitting me right in the chest right when that happened. Oh, thanks, Tyrod. But the wind and the gusts and all that stuff, like the elements of playing a football game outside and in different weather. When I was playing in Atlanta, when Green Bay was on the schedule, I'm sitting there. I'm like, please play in November, October. Please play in September, October. Like, don't make it November, December.
That place is insane. So, yeah, it's crazy. Well, Pat, transfer portal season's upon us. Looking at this South Carolina offense, Look at the receiving core, and they got some good freshmen coming in, taking kind of those guys out of it. Like if you were the GM, not that Carolina has a GM like some schools do, but
it's be a standard thing nowadays, right?
Yeah. Well, people, it's basically it's a personnel director. They get the title. I've seen, but Darren Usher would kind of be that guy for Carolina. But if you put your roster building hat on, what is this receiving core to you missing from a like prototype standpoint? Would it be an outside guy? Like what would you want to target in the transfer portal at that position?
Well, when you look at our, Lenore's ended up having a really good year. I mean, large part into his legs and making stuff happen with his legs. But I mean, Josh Simon led the team in catches and yards. Josh made some big plays. I mean, some of those were big explosive, make somebody miss, go 60, 70. We just didn't have like a steady possession receiver type guy. And Nick Harbor, you'd love him to be the take the top off, big explosive play guy, but he hasn't shown to be reliable enough to do that. I mean, I think you need an inside slot receiver that is big enough, is confident enough, is quick enough to get open against the nickel, linebacker, safety, one-on-one, can go out there and win. But you also need like a jump ball guy. Like you need somebody that like an Alshon Jeffrey. Granted, it'd be great to have a first or second rounder at that position. But you need somebody that is sure, reliable hands that can go make the play. But then you're also sitting there and it's like, why do I need to go find that in high school? Let me go find that in the portal. There's plenty of guys that are going to want to come play with Lenore Sellers. I mean, he's on the 20. I saw something on social media where he's on the 2025 Heisman watch list, which is crazy because like he was when they ranked SEC quarterbacks like week 6, he was like number 14.
Yeah, that was crazy. Well, they I don't know if you remember. You probably remember Omega Blake. He was there when you were there. So he's had a journey. He went to ECU and then left there and went to Charlotte. Apparently at Charlotte last year, he's developed into a 6'3", 210-pound deep threat.
He's 210? No way.
Yeah. That's what Charlotte. That's what they.
He ain't 210.
Yeah.
Never hold.
Hey man,
I don't know if he could ever hold 210. Now I will say Omega Blake. The reason why he didn't stay here the whole time is he needed to grow up. And obviously being in Rock Hill, coming right here to Columbia, South Carolina, and being the man, the stud, he needed to get away to grow up and learn that, hey, like life isn't just given to you. But I was always very impressed with his ball skills. He was a guy that balls in the air, he was going to be the one that was going to get it. And I mean, he did a lot of scout teamwork for us when I was there, and he was making plays against the starters. Now, when you asked him to go play special teams, he was going to kick and throw his hands and was all pissy about having to do stuff that he didn't want to do. But, I mean, if he grew up and kind of developed and put on some weight, because, I mean, he was 175, maybe 180 pounds when he was here. Mm-hmm. But you could see from a ball skill standpoint and the skill set standpoint, I mean, he can get off press pretty easily. He could make plays with the ball in space. Now, if you asked him, like, because he wasn't one of our studs, like, he was blocking on the perimeter. He did not want to block on the perimeter.
Yeah, that's important.
The ball in his hands. So, yeah. I mean, if he's grown up, man, he had – you could tell that he had the ball catching ability standpoint and the playmaking ability standpoint, but also, like, with he also was a headache at times here. So, like,
sure,
if you can make the plays, I can deal with the headache. If you can't make the plays, then I'm not going to deal with the headache.
Well, he's on campus today and available, and I'm sure they're going to.
That's a very interesting dynamic.
Yeah, it is. Of course, there's a new receivers coach at Carolina now. I would think this would be kind of a sit down conversation with Beamer and everybody involved with him. He's certainly good. And it had a really good latter part of the year, but I mean, there's a reason he went to East Carolina and then left and went.
The biggest.
Yeah, you got to feel comfortable with it.
Yeah, I mean, the culture, like this was the best year that the culture's been, and like you said, you do have a lot of young, talented guys coming in that are getting here. Like, do you want them to go get groomed? I mean, if Omega's grown up and done the right things, and he's trending in the way that hopefully he is, then yeah, then I would want young guys to come in and get groomed under, if he's starting at X or starting at Z for you, then a guy like that. But if he's going to be toxic in there and he's going to be a me guy,
no.
I mean, I'm a fullback, right? There's somebody sent me a picture of like fullbacks might limit your play calling standpoint, but they're damn good for the culture.
Yeah.
So
Cornbread Cowboy loves fullbacks, man. He's on a mission to bring it back. Our friend.
Yeah, it's just
Cornbread.
Like, did Cornbread play football?
He did for Williston Elko back in the day. He was, I think, he was a linebacker.
We need to get some tape. See if Cornbread was about that action or if he was not watching that action.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I love that guy. But all right, yeah. So that's kind of how I feel about the Blake thing. It surprised me that Carolina would be. I mean, because it didn't surprise me he would leave Charlotte, but it surprised me that because they had a coaching change. But I don't know. I don't know what.
I mean, like I hope the best for Omega. Omega was always nice to me. He always, like when I was in the building, he was super respectful and never did anything to me to not make me like him. So I mean, I enjoyed Omega. And I hope the best for him. I just, man, like, this is going to be his fourth school in 5 years. I mean, I guess
if you count Carolina twice, yeah. Yeah.
It's like, what are we doing? It's like Robbie Ashford. What are we doing? 4 teams in 5 years, like, it's broken.
Part of me is like
broken.
Part of me understands Robbie's desire to go start somewhere because he could at certain spots, probably on the group of 5 level. And then part of me is like, man, that's your fourth school. That's like that basketball player, Eric Stevenson, that Carolina had that ended up at West Virginia. He played in like all 4 corners of the country.
Yeah, but like, what are the real motives? Like, yes, I bet he wants to play, and he had a chance to compete with Lenore's here, and that might have been the whole reason why he came here. But like, he's probably going to go make a pretty decent check wherever he goes, and I would imagine we were going to give him decent money to stay here.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So like, what's the real motive? Like, is he an NFL guy? No. I don't know. I hate that you don't develop relationships. Like my best friends, like of the 8 guys in my 8 of my groomsmen, 6 of them I went to college with and played college ball with. Like, you don't get that playing 4 places in 5 years.
Oh yeah, my dad told me that when I was a kid. When I played ball, he said the guys you play ball with, he got kind of religious on it. He's like, son, guys you play football with, you'll be friends forever. And he's right, man. Even the guys like I see,
that's what it's about.
Yeah, every now and then, yeah, shared struggle. It is right. Mike, I know you've been trying to ask a question. My bad, I've been rambling on.
Well, I was just you touched on it. The wide receiver position, I think that's massive. This cycle, and to your point, Pat, I mean, I really think the landscape on what you're looking for in the off season. Yeah, in the perfect world, you just rack up 5 stars and sprinkle in portal guys, and then that's you got the best of all worlds. But the reality for most programs is, if you want a more instant return on investment and for that matter, better chances of knowing what you're getting, it's through the portal. So like I'm reading up on Dane Key. Apparently he's had an Ole Miss visit, and George is still high on him. Nebraska's actually in the hunt for that guy. Barry Brown goes to LSU. So I'm just wondering what the portal is looking like. And obviously, JC, I know you're all over this too for Carolina, because I'm with you. I think Lenoris needs a little more help at that position, and this is
he needs consistency. I mean, any quarterback needs consistency.
And there is no
force the ball to this guy. I know we got a chance.
There's no 50-50 guy that I saw last year, nor is there a guy, to use your term, that constantly wins battles for getting separation and getting open. You got a bunch of like really solid guys, but you don't have a whole lot of alphas. So I'm just wondering how they attack that.
Yeah. It was weird because I thought Delvon Campbell could have been that guy. And he showed signs. I mean, everybody was just sort of up and down. You're right.
Yeah. I mean, when you run F choice, hopefully your quarterback has the balls to sit there and stand on my F. Like, he's going to win. I know he's going to win. It might not be his first move, but it's going to be a second move. I'm going to sit on him. And if not, I'm going to get my bell rung because I'm trusting that my guy who we designed this play for and giving every opportunity to win, and he's smart enough and he has the talent. And I mean, like when I was in Atlanta, one of Kyle's favorite concepts was Buffalo H choice. And H choice was basically you give Tevin Coleman or Devontae Freeman a chance to go one-on-one with a linebacker. They should win 97% of the time. There was a reason we weren't calling fullback choice because that wasn't the likelihood of me winning there. But I mean, they could sit there and they won 95% of the time. And it was a 15, 20, 30-yard explosive play. Like, so for us to have the confidence to call that and Lenore's to sit there on his primary target and know that he's going to win and he's going to get open is key. I mean, a quarterback needs that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Pat, I guess that's about it for the segment. I guess we're a little more brief than Bradford. Yeah, it's.
We did a piece with Garcia earlier today with Tailgate Talks about some of these playoff games, which I'm sure you're going to dig into later.
Is this going to be the cut? Is it going to be the cut on that you got the cut video you guys have been putting out? By the way, everybody,
we talking about the whole kind of. I mean, it's weird to have Friday, December 20th, there being a bowl game that actually means something.
Yeah, that's strange, man.
December 21st to have a bowl game that actually means something. Usually nobody's watching any of that.
Yeah.
So
we got ball to watch, and that's going to be awesome. Yeah, because Army Navy kind of filled the void this year, and it's usually like a sad ending. You know, you're like Army Navy, then the next week it's the New Mexico Bowl, right? But this year it's big time football like that. So that's coming up on Tailgate Talks. You guys releasing one tomorrow, I'm assuming.
It'll be out Wednesday. Yep, every Wednesday.
I'm sorry, my days have been mixed up all week. I keep thinking it's my wife's in Thailand and she's a day ahead of me. So now, okay, so and everybody follow Tailgate Talks 547 on Instagram to get the bonus segment sponsored by Cut with Pat and Stephen. I really got a lot out of those myself. So everybody just follow them on Instagram and check those out. Be sure to check out Tailgate Talks. Gamecocks Plus or the Chief Sports app with the audio. All right, man. I guess we won't talk to you for a while, dude. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Yeah. When I got the link, I was like, I didn't know where we were going with this, but we went somewhere and we did it. And
yeah, me too.
Garcia's locks for the week he picked Notre Dame, he picked SMU, Clemson, and Tennessee. So it was an underdog week.
Wow.
All right.
Clemson, SMU, Tennessee.
And so there's a big spreads. Like there's a reason, like there should be no reason to talk about the playoffs, and there's an 11-point spread.
If Indiana pulls that off, Signetti, like I know they've already handed out all the awards, but they ought to give him another one.
Yeah, man. I like Clemson in the points, honestly. I think Clemson, that could be a close game. In a playoff game, you're playing for your life, man. I mean, there's no letdown. I mean, I don't know.
It's so awesome that they're on campus too.
Yeah, there's some big spreads out there.
That.
Carolina starts bowl practice tomorrow. You guys talk more portal stuff and all the recruiting stuff. That's not real my world.
I know, dude. Yeah, that's I tried to kind of give you some big picture stuff, man. All right, Pat, we appreciate it, and certainly wish you and your family a Merry Christmas, man. Thanks for a great season, man. Thanks, it was awesome.